Mario Michel says it is too late for the United Workers' Party. The former SLP Education Minister and Deputy Prime Minister says Stephenson King's present situation resembles a festering wound, one that is too deep and old for treatment. He says King's weaknesses have been exposed and it is now almost impossible for him to continue as Prime Minister.
The wounds inflicted on Stephenson King's leadership at this stage would really make it very, very difficult for anybody to be able to swallow the idea of his continuation in office. And it's not just that what his own members have done. I mean, it is a lot of things that have happened around the same time, from his jazz festival performance to his comments on the Police Welfare Association to everything coalescing around him and bringing about a situation where it will be very, very difficult for even the most loyal supporter of the United Workers' Party to decide at this time that, okay, everything is okay now, let's pick up our boots again and continue with our Prime Minister Stephenson King. That's difficult to countenance.
Sources close to the United Workers' Party say a faction of elected members want King ousted as Prime Minister. Michel says if one more member officially withdraws support for King, his days as Prime Minister would be over. He says the Constitution provides King with two options: to demit office or to ask the Governor-General to dissolve the House of Assembly.
The Prime Minister's options would, if he loses the support of one other person, would be either to immediately resign or to ask the Governor-General to dissolve the House. One must note that if the Prime Minister proceeds to ask the Governor-General to dissolve the House, the Governor-General does not have to follow his directive on that. The Governor-General can make a determination in her own deliberate judgment that the government of the country can be conducted with somebody else appointed Prime Minister, and can decide, instead of immediately dissolving the House, to seek to ascertain whether there is another member of the House who commands the support of the majority.
Michel says if backed into a corner, the Prime Minister could create a constitutional crisis by refusing to dissolve the House or resign.
If that happens, then the options that would then become available would be for the Governor-General, either in her own deliberate judgment, to decide that a state of affairs exists on the basis of which the House should be dissolved, which would be very unusual for a Governor-General to take that position on her own. The more likely course that would follow that is that a motion of no confidence would be moved in the Prime Minister in the House of Assembly, which would then automatically result in the government, the Prime Minister having to resign within 3 days of a motion of no confidence.
Michel says the entire episode is headed in one direction: general elections. He predicts a desperate attempt by elected members to select another candidate to lead the party and government. He says this is the only way to avoid the biggest fear, the fall of the government, and the obvious alternative, the return of the St. Lucia Labour Party. Alison Kentish, HTS News, Channel 4.